Welcome to the Sound Mind podcast, where I invite interesting guests from the music field and discuss with them topics such as musical and personal growth, pursuing excellence and self-talk, body and mind maintenance, practice and work routines, music business, and more. I'm your host, Michael Krustel, and welcome to the Sound Mind podcast.
Hello, dear listeners and viewers. On today's episode, I have another special guest. Her name is Nabou Claerhout, and she is a Belgium-based trombonist, composer, and a band leader, as well as a member of several other projects as a side woman. Ever since I met her, which was already 10 years ago, we used to be classmates at the Conservatorium in Rotterdam. I always felt this presence of lightness, of kindness, of appreciation and warmth. And that is also why I wanted to invite her to this podcast. So I hope that you enjoy, and until next time, I wish you a sound mind. As far as I know, we are both a little bit under the weather for the last couple of days, right? I have a totally complete how should I say, blockage of my sinuses. Yeah. And I've heard that you have similar situation as well.
I do have similar situations. So sorry if I'm coughing now and then. But
No
so
problem.
You know why.
No problem. I'm also apologizing if I sneeze. So
there we go.
Just how we are currently. Yeah. So currently you are based in Antwerp.
Yes.
I have been checking out that you have now quite a period of concerts and a long list of program ahead of you, and what a coincidence and perfect timing that you got under the weather just in the 2 days that you're a little bit free.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened.
Yeah. So the first thing that caught my attention, because we haven't been in touch since we graduated. Basically.
No, yeah.
So I've seen a couple of videos with you as with your band and with a quartet. Really nice music. And also then you're also a member of a trio with Rainier Baas and what's the drummer's name?
Jamie Pate.
Jamie Pate, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the other cool project you have is a trombone ensemble, right? It's
yes.
like 5 trombones. That's crazy. Right?
And a rhythm section.
Yeah, exactly. And rhythm section.
And a rhythm section. I have to mention it because the trombone ensemble sounds very trombonistic, but there's also an amazing guitar player, drummer, and bass player in it. So that's why I always have to mention it's with the rhythm section.
Of course. Don't miss out on the guitar player.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me, Nabou, how does your normal day look like? Like, do you have a specific morning routine or a evening routine?
Well, these were actually very busy days. I think most of my normal days is like waking up kind of more in the later morning than in the early ones, and then I try to warm up a bit on a trombone to at least have the first touch with the instrument. Depending of what I did the night before, it's around 10 or 9 o'clock. It already starts actually in the shower that I warm up with my lips, like buzzing. Just try to feel like where the day will bring me. Then I already know like, oh, it's the type of a day. And then I try to practice a bit. And then most of the time when it's very busy, then most of the time I already have to head out to go in the afternoon, to go to a venue or to go to a rehearsal or a studio, depending of what it will bring. So that's like a normal day, and then ending up very late again in bed.
Right.
Yeah, it's something like what it is these days. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you feel like, because I myself also, let's say there are some periods that I'm a bit more busy concert wise, and especially like you say, the evening situation can be a little bit tricky, you know, when concerts start late, and then how do you have a specific thing, how do you cope with it to go a little bit easier then, or how do you have something under your sleeve to maybe tackle that, or you just go with it?
I try to go with it, and I try to have my day life a little bit different than other people. Lots of my friends wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to their normal 9 to 5 job, and that's something I don't do that early. But if I have more free days, then I also try to do that. I really like that, to have long days before the night falls or something. But I try to accept that that my days are longer in the evenings or in the nights, and that I kind of have to compensate that in the mornings. That's how I try to handle it.
Yeah. And what do you do, for example, for your well-being, that you can pull it off, like to stay composed? And
yeah, good question. Maybe I still have to find that. I don't know. Well, depending of time, I also try to do some yoga, and also some mindfulness. I think that's something that my teacher already at the conservatory, Ilya, told me once, like, maybe you have to do some mindfulness to concentrate a little bit better. And I really feel that from the moments I'm doing that more often. Like if I have like composition weeks or something, then I really have like super fixed days just to have it clear in my head. So I wake up very early. I mean, with early, I mean like 7 o'clock. And then I start with the breakfast, and then I start with mindfulness. And then I also get rid of all the Facebook and Instagram apps on my phone. So that's gone for those 2 or 3 weeks.
So you
and then
you delete them?
I do delete them, but I still have them, of course, on the internet. But I do delete them on my. And actually, I have to be honest that these are the most happyful days in my life when I delete them, and then I'm like thinking, okay, I can handle it again.
Totally.
But yeah, it's such a we do need it. That's why we're using it. So mindfulness is something I try to also to get in my normal life, or before concerts or something, like the breathing exercises and the body scan things, just to be aware of me or this body, or how to handle with it. But how the more busy I am, the quicker I forget all those things also. So I'm not really good in keeping it super tight.
Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit what kind of a mindfulness exercise do you do? Like, is there a specific one that you are constantly turning around and going for that? Or
I actually do have an app for it. So I just put the app on, and I can ask for 15 minutes or for 30 minutes.
Which app
is it? Follow what the app is saying. I quickly gotta check before I make some commercial for the wrong app. It calls meditation, but it's the same one of yoga, and it's with a dog.
Okay.
So it's a general app. I quickly have to. I don't know if I really can find the real name of the app. Yeah, it's with a dog. And it's a dog that's like meditating, and the other one he's doing a yoga. So it's it calls meditation. So it's not really, I can say something else.
Okay.
And I really do like it. It's very nice and easy, just like following what someone else is telling me to do. That's nice.
And what kind of breathing exercises do you do? Is there a
Ooh.
specific thing that you follow, or
Well, the meditation breathing exercises are totally different compared to the ones that I have to do for my practicing.
uh-huh.
If it's about practicing, then it's about like the most air in the shortest. The most amount of air in the shortest amount of time. Also, like in the quickest how you can do it. So it's via your mouth and your nose.
That's when
It
you
has to be
train for the
very quick.
trombone, right?
That's when I train for the
Okay.
trombone and
Yeah.
to stretch all the muscles and uh, like there's one exercise that you breathe in and that you keep breathing until you really can't make it anymore, and then you really feel like your whole body's stretching, and then you release again. But if it's about the meditation, then it's about to getting your heartbeat as low as possible. So then it's more like there's one exercise that you have to do it like via one nose. I don't know how whole. I don't know how you
Yeah,
can
one nose
actually.
hole. Yeah.
And then you do it via the other one, and then you feel afterwards that it's much easier. And then it's much more about like a relaxed way of breathing. So it's two different worlds, and I really needed to learn because I thought like, yeah, I can do it. I mean, I play trombone, so I know how to breathe. But then it's a totally other world. If it's about yoga or meditation, then it's about playing the trombone.
Yeah. And where did you this is something what just popped up, because when I was checking your pages and kind of your brand, how it's headed, I noticed like this vibe of black and red color. Like, is that something? How did you get to that? Like, is it something spiritual, or is it? Did you just feel like that's some connection to that? Like, how did you get to that?
Um, Actually, it's something I once learned at school. That I don't know anymore who was it, but there was like a workshop, and someone said like, yeah, you really have to think about the brand, about your band, or about your project, so that people kind of can connect it, or that everything that you're sharing is like a connection with each other or something. So it started there, but I do change the colors. So every time when I release a new album, I work with colors. So the first EP that we did with the quartet was called Hubert, and this one was yellow, and then the colors were yellow and blue. The last album we released 2 years ago with the quartet was red. I mean, it's a red building and the blue sky. And now there is a new album coming. So actually what you see now on the website, I'm already changing it with a PR team to the new colors, but I cannot really say a lot about the new colors because it's still a surprise. So there is already the single of the trombone ensemble is already out, and there you already can see it's like kind of baby blue, gray bluish thing. So it's something with blue. That's what I can tell you. But there is something else coming.
Ooh, exciting.
I actually do like that idea because it kind of also shows like, I think as a musician, like I'm doing a lot of stuff, and it's not that I can really put it in one box or something, but it is type of a this moment is also a type of a vibe that I have. Like what I'm doing now with the trombone ensemble is something totally different what I did 4 or 5 years ago with the quartet, or what I will do with the quartet, or with the trio thing that I have with Danny and Jamie. So it kind of gives you a vibe of the vibe that I have at that moment. And I like to, maybe that's my artistic thing or something, to put it in boxes and to see that the yellow one was the first one, the red one was the second one, and the one that's coming is, I like that. And they also have that in app, like I once actually, sorry, I really like this
Go for
question.
it. Go for it.
Tell me if I have to stop. There is also a TV show that calls Girls, and they actually starts always with the same letters, but always with another color. And there was the idea actually from. And I saw now my boyfriend was checking the Netflix series of David Beckham. There is like a new documentary about, and they also do that. So there's like every episode is another color, and I kind of like that idea that things end and starts in one frame or something.
Yeah. Very well put. I think also in that term, and it connects so well to what an album is, right? Because it's a documentation of a specific moment, right?
Exactly.
It's really that, and yeah, I think that's also something what I discovered about myself and working, just releasing different albums, blah blah blah. That yeah, it's and it also releases a little bit of pressure from it in that sense, because it's like, look, this is now, like this is a piece right now, and it just points out to this time in these circumstances is the best
Exactly. Yeah.
what you can do, and your focus was on this sound, this specific sound, and that's it. So wow, yeah, I'm very very glad we talked about these concepts. And so is there, how should I say, you mentioned before that like writing your music, that you then, when you have composition periods, that you tend to be more constructive about it, right? Like just waking up early, dedicating time to it, right? Do you agree also about this, just sitting with it, right? Like, because it's basically like practice, right? You cannot say it's gonna be a great practice day until you sit down and just, that's the effort that we can do, right? It's like showing up, right? Consistently. You have some thoughts on the process of composing, for example?
Yeah, composing is in a way easier for me because I'm not doing that when I'm playing a concert. So for practicing the instrument, for me, practicing is trying to find new things and all that stuff. But I notice in this period that I'm most of the time when I have time to practice, that I'm practicing actually the stuff that I have to play the next day or that evening or something. But I still find some rest with myself if it comes to trombone playing, because I'm still playing also in the night if I have concerts or if I record or some stuff like that. I'm still playing the instrument, so I kind of find a peace in that. But if it comes to composing, then yeah, that's different. I really need to take time for that, and I really try to not take any gigs in that period, like to really have like 2 weeks. I really need to do that. Otherwise, my head doesn't work like that I can do it in between two things. I wish I would be possible to do that, but I cannot. So I really need to keep it free and to give myself some time. And what I always write on the piano, so never on the trombone actually. And I do it via Bandcamp, via GarageBand. That was the other band thing. GarageBand, so like with a MIDI computer, and then I immediately can hear already the sound of the bass, and I actually do it without any judgment. So it's a lot of bad shit stuff that will end up in these files. And 2 weeks, I really do like 2 weeks, which is for me really the minimum, because then you have like a few days to do something else and to come back on that first thing and to figure out what was shit and what's maybe nice, and then you start like taking some stuff out. I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but
Yeah,
but that's
okay.
like how I see that the importance of sitting down and taking the time for it. which you also could do for your instrument, but which is a bit harder. Or maybe I also have to start canceling or saying no to concerts 2 weeks just to practice the trombone. That would be actually also really nice. But you're still playing, so you still. It's not that I'm not busy with my instrument. It's just that I'm not practicing in the way how I would do that composing wise or when I have free time.
I really understand you because, for example, for me, playing concerts or knowing that there are concerts ahead is really staying in shape also, like maintaining. And when I know that I have some time left, then I would also focus more on composing, writing new pieces or preparing new pieces. And then it's a bit less of that, okay, I gotta be sharp. It's less that, let's say, competitive sports attitude in that sense, okay, I gotta warm up, I gotta do that, but I completely agree on what you've said. And you decided to do a career from a trombone, or not in that sense, like it's quite a remarkable instrument to make it as a soloist, that you're making it as a soloist with such a unconventional instrument, let's say, like, of course there's a ton of guitar players and singers and la 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 la, even maybe even saxophone is a bit more
I say,
more and but so actually, before we go to this, I want to know, what was the moment when you decided, okay, I want to do music, like this is what I want to do? Like, what was it?
I think what you're saying, I think I felt that in the third year of the conservatory, that I said, like, okay, I really want to go for music and I'm really going to make my job out of it. Before, it was more like a flow that I was just following. There was always a piano at home. There was always a lot of music at home. So playing music without any judgment is something that I did already from when I was very young. So all those things, going to the music school and going to the art high school that we did here, the Kunstmajora, or that we have here in Belgium, that was like all very logical steps for me. And I never really decided, like, I'm going for music. That's what I want to do. And I remember that in the third year of the conservatory that I started doubt a bit, like, is this really what I want? And is this really the thing that I think I can make a living off, or that I can pay my house, or that I can pay my rent or whatever? Like, is the love for it so big that I really want to make my job out of it? While everybody around me is saying, like, be careful, music, you're never gonna earn any money with it. So in the third year of the conservatory, I was, in the beginning, I doubted a bit, and then after a few weeks or after a few months, I really decided, okay, this is really what I want to do. And then in the fourth year, we had to do a final exam, and then I started the quartet. I think the quartet already started at the end of the third year, but that year was really like a switch for me. And if you ask me, like, when did it happen that you choose for music, that was the year that I chose for music, or chose for it, because before it was just a flow. It was just a thing, like, I had no idea of doing something else. Of course, when I did the applications for the conservatory, and then you also start thinking, like, what if I'm not selected, what am I gonna do then? And then you start thinking about it. But it was just such a flow of following all the things that were kind of normal or something in my life, that I never really had to thought about it. So that was the moment that I chose for it.
Yeah. And are you coming from a musical family, since you had the piano at home? How was your musical upbringing in that sense? Like,
Um, my mom always wanted to play music, but she never really had a chance to. She played the recorder, the alto version of it. There was a lot of music, like a lot of vinyls and a lot of CDs. My sister was totally into music. She was like a 100% 90 music chick. So yeah, she was totally into take that and the Spice Girls and all that stuff. But luckily also in Erykah Badu and into Earth, Wind and Fire and all the really nice stuff. Not that the Spice Girls are not really nice.
But they just don't have the horn section.
Exactly. They just don't have the horn section. And she also sings. And my brother is like an opera freak. I say freak because he
Sorry, opera or opera?
Yeah, opera. No, the opera, and not yeah, exactly. I mentioned that the other one that would be also funny. He bought like different CDs from one version of an opera, just to figure out the difference. I mean, not of one version, but like from one opera, different versions, and then he figured out like if that symphonic orchestra played it different than that one, or that singer sings it different than that one, or yeah, I find it very. I mean, as a professional musician, I still think like, what the fuck? What
very
is he
nerdy.
doing with all his money as a teenager? Very nerdy. But yeah, he was really into that. So there was always like already a very, I think in a very healthy way, but like a fascination for music in the house. Mm. And the piano thing, yeah, we first had the organ and then we had a piano, and it also ended up in the house like that someone didn't want to have it anymore, and then my mom said like, oh yeah, sure, you can drop it off at our place, and then we had it. Yeah, I also have no idea how that happened. I actually should ask my mom why the family ended up so musically, but in totally different ways. Because my brother cannot read any music or something, so.
But yeah. He can sing
But he can sing. No, he can't. I don't know. He can't sing, but he's really into that and into classical music, and yeah, he's really fascinated about that. So yeah.
Yeah, and when did you pick up the trombone? Like why did you decide for the trombone? Like yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to, at a certain moment, I went to school, and then some still of my best friends told me that they went to a music school. So in Belgium, we kind of have a system that after school, you also can go to another school that's from the city, from the government, from the city, that you can study music. So you have to do solfège, so the music theory part, and then you also can do an instrument. And at the end of so many years, you really get also like you also graduated in music from the music school. So friends of me told me that they did that they went to this music school, and I was like totally flabbergasted, like, what is that? And I didn't know that school exists. So that evening I went home and I asked my mom, like, I really would love to go to the music school. And she kind of quickly agreed. She totally found it normal that I wanted to do that. But she told me that I first have to fall in love with an instrument. But I was like 8 years old. So I mean, that sounded very abstract for me, to fall in love with an instrument. And the boyfriend at that time of my sister, he was a drummer. And then we actually started to check some videos, not on YouTube because it didn't exist yet, but like on the TV, or then he recorded stuff on a video recorder, and then we rewatched it. And I think it's in the Netherlands that they have like every summer, like a few young musicians most classical musicians that they asked to play with a symphonic orchestra. And then there was a bassoon player, someone who was playing harp, and then a trombone player. And at first I was really into the bassoon, but the boyfriend at the time of my sister, he was not really agreeing with that. He found it a bit boring. And then I wanted to play the harp, and my mom was like, "Man, it's so expensive, so you're not going to do that." And then I ended up actually with the trombone. So now it sounds that it was not my first choice, but I think she kind of immediately felt that when I said that it was for real. She agreed with that, and now that I'm like, oh, I'm 30 now, so many years later, I also get what she meant with falling in love with the instrument, like the amount of time we spending with that instrument constantly in one room, and the dedication you have to give for that instrument to still feel that you want to do it better next time. That's something you only can do if you fall in love with it, or if you feel a love for that sound, or for that instrument, or for that feeling, or for that thing you're doing together with that instrument. So I totally get it now, what she meant, but I didn't do that at the time.
Wow, what a wise mom you have.
Yeah, if it comes to that, I do.
Crazy. Yeah, because I've been talking to a friend of mine, and because on this recent seminar where I was giving lectures to students and workshops, and I noticed that his students specifically stood out, like something, but it wasn't even. It was just the attitude and the energy around playing. It was just this pure excitement and something just different from anything else. So I called him up and I was like, "Hey, what do you feed your kids? Like what do you do? Tell me, give me the juice." Like,
Yeah, tell
and
me
he
the
was like,
secrets.
"Yeah," and well, first of all, he said, like, I just treat them as every other human being. There's no difference between our conversation and them. But the most important thing is that that we always connect to the heart first before we start playing. Like that, there's always this connection that you play from your heart. Play from your heart. Like whatever you do, you play a scale, whatever. Just keep it clean in that sense, because this is your ritual, right? Like it's a prayer, and it's such a profound thing. And I was like, wow. Also, I'm gonna take that to heart.
Yeah,
It's such a, and it's true. It's our praise zone, basically.
it
We
is.
yeah, it's our
And I think if we started playing music in any chance that we all did it, starting from the love or the love for the feeling when you were doing it, and that we kind of lose it in a way when it comes to school now and then, because then it's about being correct and doing it right, and then what you're saying, like we quickly lose the reason why we actually want to do it.
yeah,
and that connection. Yeah, it's really nice that he did that also.
yeah, and
Or not also that he did that.
and it goes a long way, I think, because these are like young kids playing. Imagine already putting that in the cradle. Let's say I discovered that a bit later. I also started later, but it's just.
When did you start it?
I started playing the guitar when I was 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite old in that sense. But then I was just going crazy about it. Like I would just be with the instrument forever. Like I could be spending hours with the guitar. It was just so cool, the sound, and that I was just making these sounds and already coming up with some weird melodies, or whether I had a guitar for one day and I was just like, whoa. It was just so cool. And the thing was also, it was also a money issue, for example. Why? Because it's a low investment. If something is gonna come out, great. If not, the guitar is not the most expensive instrument. It's okay. So my parents were also a little bit safe on that side.
Like my mom with the harp.
Yeah, but I just really think now of
of playing and practicing, like that. I mean, I started now to sing as well a bit more than before, and it's also a very important part of my performance. But keeping this connection with my instrument is really, it has almost like a prayer situation, you know, like I feel it. I feel that it's my responsibility to keep this channel alive. You know, who knows what's gonna fall from up there in here and then out of the guitar and then on the other instruments or on the piano, but this is the first connection usually when it happens, you know, and I feel that just that responsibility, you know, to keep that channel, that door open, you know, like that medium with something, who knows what, you know, just something, and just
Yeah.
oh yeah. Wow, beautiful. And so now that you are, yeah, is there something that, what is the thing that you enjoy the most with being a professional musician?
Yeah, I'm thinking actually like what you say, like the whole thing of it sounds a bit spiritual and I'm not so spiritual, but that something comes in, you know, and that you kind of can, but this thing is like, these are the things that I like the most if that happens, but it doesn't really happen every night or every day. And it's also a bit a drug because I have the feeling that I'm going from those types of moment to another of those types of moment, and that everything in between is like, it's not happening, and how can I make it happen again, and what can I do to keep it open again, and to replay that on the instrument at the end of the thing. But these are very special moments, and I do like people around me. So I do like also like um, actually the moment before the gig. I like maybe the most because then you're just hanging, talking about whatever. It doesn't really always have to go about music. But after the gig, everybody has to go home, or you sell some CDs, or you talk to the audience, which is also really nice. But then, like, the vibe of being a band or being a group kind of split out a bit every time after the gig. So I like the moment of the get in till the end of the concert. You know, like that's like really like a group band of bonding thing. I think I do like that the most. And if it comes to me as a trombone player, as a composer, then yeah, being at a venue and playing an amazing gig with the musicians on stage, and that the audience totally feel it in the same way. That's like, I mean, if we have those moments with the quartet, that's like the nicest feeling I can ever have. Like the fact that the four of us and actually the five of us, we and the audience, like having this trip all together, and that it totally works out. And yeah, it's amazing that those things that I write in my study room in the evening when I'm composing, that at the end of the whole trip, that people really likes it, that I'm not the only one who said like, okay, this is not shit, maybe we can make something out of it. And that it happened, you know, that all these puzzle pieces comes together. And then I'm talking about every musician and the compositions and the audience, that everything fits. That's amazing. But sadly enough, it's not every night like that, and that's a drug that I feel that I think I also have to accept that maybe a little bit more, that it's not always like that. that evenings where it's not like that, where maybe also really nice concerts, but I really feel it at the moment as a drug of like things that fits together, and the moments that it's not happening, I feel like I cannot really accept that in a way or something. Sounds very dark now. It's not that dark, but yeah, talking of the nicest moments to the less nice
That's
moments.
great.
It's like, yeah.
Because I think my
balance.
next question would be, what is the worst? And I think probably this one, right? When it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
when it doesn't work, and I yeah, it's not always working, and now it sounds like it's not working a lot of times. It's also not a thing, but I think it's if you taste that feeling of where I was, what I just explained, that everything works and that everything falls at the right place. They're always searching for that,
yeah,
and I'm now learning a bit that it's not that. The more you play, the less that also will happen. Because if you only have one concert in a month, then you have all the time to work to that moment. And of course, it's a kind of a release at that moment. But if you have like a few concerts in a week, then the chance that not every concert has that release is bigger. And yeah, that's something that's happening, something that I realize how much I'm being a bit a perfectionist, a perfect, yeah, I don't know how you say that in English,
yeah,
like someone who
perfection.
wants everything perfectionist.
Yeah,
um that I realize that I also have to be a great musician, to also leave that now and then, and to also enjoy the amazing moments of a concert, or
yeah.
a concert, and that if something didn't fall in that concert 100% at the right place, it doesn't mean that it's not a nice concert or something. And I'm a bit in that vibe at the moment.
Yeah.
But like all my great musicians that I once heard a workshop or an interview from, they all did that. So I try to compensate it, like, hey, Nabou, it's okay. And but I'm
Yeah.
a bit in that vibe of like accepting or trying to find a way of enjoying if some little things went wrong, like,
Mm,
because it's also music, and
yeah,
the more you dive into it, the more you also hear, the more.
exactly.
And what I was saying that I really loved when I was a kid, without the judgment, like playing on the piano, and if I play the wrong note, who cares? I might also didn't know when I was playing a wrong note, so I still felt I was I was the best piano player ever, and I can't play the piano, but and that's something different, like the moment you dive more and more deeper in it, the more and more you find out, and the more that you figured out of things that you want to try, or
Yeah,
what I'm saying, the more concerts you play, the less that they are all amazing. So
yeah,
but that doesn't mean that they were not amazing or not nice.
yeah,
So that,
yeah, and
amen.
amen. Amen. And yeah, I also think that if it wasn't for the contrast, like if it weren't for the moments when you play really well, or when you have that connection, and the moments when you don't, I think we would also not cherish those moments so much, but it
Exactly.
makes them like, oh, wow, so valuable, right?
Yeah, it's
And
totally true.
and it brings me to, I think it was, oh, now something just clicked right now, because I noticed that, I mean, I went through your research as well, and how big you are in terms of rhythmical phrasing, and also like analyzing Mark Juliana and blah blah blah. And I remember actually his one of his workshops or lectures that we had, I think even in conservatorium, and now it just clicked, as he said that why he practices is for those moments. Like not every gig will be like that, but when it happens, damn, it's precious. And I really, wow, how magical that this popped up now, right? Like it's
I
just,
even think that we went together to that. I think it was in Utrecht, and that we went together by car to that workshop. And that was the
I,
moment that I really dived into to Mark Juliana for the first time after the concert. But it's true, he said that too. That he, and I actually, that's also what I said earlier. Like, what do I do in the mornings, like I try to feel what my day will bring. And I remember that Mark Juliana said that he accepted also, that he's trying to accept that at the concert. Like, okay, it's not the type of a day I'm not gonna make it. So I just going for the things I can do today. And I'm at the level that I'm still trying to accept that. I'm not there yet that I can do that. But it's something that it's funny because it's something that I really took in my or tried to take in my musical life or something. That sentence you just mentioned.
Yeah, wow. And this is so precious. And also on this topic, I also had one discussion with one of my students, and we've been talking exactly about this, to how to see a concert, right? Like, and I follow one little stoic principle that helps me, like, to get a little bit more chill. And it's it might be because the Stoics were a little bit religious in sense of gods, believing in gods, but I see it more as a framework, or just a tool. And it's like, did I do everything up until that moment? Like, everything what was in my hands, which was, for example, like practice, my routine, preparing. Like, I did my checklist. It's not that I was sitting and scratching my ass. Like, I worked, and I was preparing up to the concert, and on the concert is up to the gods. Like, it's not in my hands. I did my part, and now I just let go and be. And this philosophy really did a switch in my performing, because then I just am like, look, I did my bit, and now whatever can happen, and stuff happens. It's crazy. You cannot prepare, like your amp dies, or one cable decides to go underneath your pedal, and then you're like, fuck, what now? It's out. I cannot prepare for this, like, or something, then you work it out. But it's really, it puts a little bit edge off, at least in my case, because I used to beat up myself, and like, there was that note that I didn't play correct, and but now I just, oh, look, c'est la vie, what
Yeah.
you know
No, yeah, it's totally true.
or
It's just that
the same.
I did totally agree what you're saying. It's only like I think what we learn at school also, and what we learn in the music industry, is that you always can do more, and that's something that minds isn't true. That what you're saying, like, when I was awake, I did everything I could do for this evening, or I did everything to be great at this concert. And if something goes wrong, if I play a wrong note, or if it's meant to be then. And it's but it's also a game, that you can play in your head. Like, you always can say, like, maybe I had to wake up 1 hour earlier, or maybe I had to sleep 1 hour less, or whatever. Or But it's I'm really totally agree with what you're saying, and that's what I'm trying to find at the moment. But I totally agree. Yeah, and that's, I think that's also the only way to be able to handle it, because how you turn it, you're still, and we also do like it, so that's not the thing. But however you take it, we're still standing in front of other people, and they bought a ticket, and we want to give them an experience of that night, and you want to give them, of course, the best version of it. And
and if they don't get it, maybe they will come to another concert, because they're like, this was not enough, I'm gonna be in another town with this person.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like, it's also normal. I already also went to concerts of my favorite musicians, and then I thought, like, that was different than last time that I saw him or her. But that doesn't mean that it was not a nice concert. It's what I'm saying, like this drug thing. It's because I already felt that other thing from them, and then I kind of expect that next time. But it's also something that I really have to. This is more. It's getting more and more to a psychologist thing, but I really have to get to find that that thing, and it's also what I'm saying. The less time I have to practice the trombone, the more I'm doubting. Like, shouldn't I had to practice more? But then on the other hand, it's not that I had time to do it more. So it's double. And I'm playing, so I'm also happy. I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do when I started at the conservatory. So so it's a very double feeling, and I think a feeling that I noticed with colleagues that everybody has. So it's not deep.
That's how we do it here on the Soundline podcast.
Okay.
That's the only way. This is the way. There ain't no other way, you know. And okay, what? Let me put it like that. How do you maintain this kind spirit and this warmth around you? Like, how do you set up? How do you keep this light up? Like, do you have a self-talk, or does it just come natural? Because as I said in the beginning, like, I always felt this coming from you, and it was either we had a band, either we have just a random conversation. It was always this very kindness and lightness, and how should I phrase it, also just embracing what there is, you know. Like, I always felt this vibe from you. Like, do you have a certain set of skill? But that was like, this is already like since I met you, which was like what, 10 years ago already?
Yeah, almost
like that.
Yeah. Maybe 9-10 years ago, exactly.
Well, tell me.
Yeah, I hear it more often from people, but I don't feel it like that. I'm always so happy and always so I still love it, playing music. So I think that's enough to find the peace and the rest and to light it here, you know, like, or lighting it. Taking some weight of it. That's what I'm trying to say. I love it. From the moment I play the first note at the concert, that's just the thing what I really love about it, and all the things that comes with it around it. I take that a function of the music. It's what I'm saying, like what I'm doing now, playing this concert, making music. That's what I wanted, and that's also at the moment what I'm doing, and it also took me a while to realize that not everybody was able. I mean, that I got a lot of amazing chances. I already had a band before I graduated from school. I also already had a manager before I graduated from school. That's like insane stuff. Like that's stuff that just all went with the flow, and that I never really realized I didn't know what a manager was when I was still at school, and when I signed the contract. I mean, I really had to figure it out via Google what it was. I mean, I only know the stories of a manager of Amy Winehouse or Britney Spears or whatever. So this is stuff that I really discovered on the go, and it sounds very old, but the older I get, the more I realize, like, oh, that was actually very unique in a way, or something special, like being at the right place at the right time and having loads of luck of people that really believed in it, and that kind of pushed me to do all that stuff. and to make it able also for me to do that stuff, because like having a whole team around you gives you the opportunity to have these 2 weeks of composing, or having the quartet also, like it was the four of us, it's not only me, it's the four of us who are working around the compositions I made. I'm not a guitar player, so whatever Roland did on the guitar was from him. Whatever Tra is doing on the bass is from her. It's me, right? That wrote some stuff on the composition or on the lead sheets, but it's them making music out of it in a way, something like that. So, so I know how, or I think that I do know how lucky I am with that. That all these puzzle pieces ended up all together, and that still makes me happy, and that still makes that I can wake up and that I know that I can go to work, and that work is for me not like a 9-to-5 job, something that I think I wouldn't like to do, but that what I do like to do, that's also my work. That's amazing. That I can go to my work and play some music with friends, and that I end up again at 2 o'clock in the night in bed, but that the morning after that, at 10 o'clock, that I have a rehearsal with amazing other musicians. So that's what I do love from it, and that's what's keeping me on track at the moment. So yeah.
Wow. Beautiful words. Awesome. Felt a lot of grace and gratitude, and humbleness, humility. Yeah. I have one last question for you.
Yes.
Or maybe something else will pop up, but this is something
we never know.
You never know. So what would be the most important lesson or a quote you got from life, and that you kind of keep it in mind, and you're coming back to it, and no pressure, it can be more, like if you have several, that's cool, but yeah, do you have something like that you got and you're getting back to it, like?
Well, my bass player, she always says, so Tre Amerlink, an amazing bass player, by the way. She, every time if something happens, because now we are talking about all the good stuff that happens, of course, but I can tell you that also bad stuff happens, and that you have to fix stuff, and that you sometimes ending up in the evening in your bed and think like, man, this is impossible to fix or something. And she'll always say like, everything will be fine. Everything in the world will be fine, but not today. And that's something that really, and it's super stupid because she also said to laugh with it, like and it's something that actually always makes me calm. Like if you're in the deepest, and of course, I mean, there is loads of very bad stuff happening in the world, so everything I'm saying is like not that bad. It's that shit that's happening. But like when I feel in my life that the deep, that I cannot even go deeper than that, or that's not even can go worse than that, then I still hear that phrase from her in my head. And I'm thinking like, okay, everything will be fine, but not today. And that really helps. Like that helps to realize that when some stuff go wrong, that there is always a solution, but that our mind don't see today, mind don't see tomorrow, but that nothing is really going wrong or something. So everything is fixable.
Yeah.
That's it's like not really musically. Of course, it also impacts a lot of my music life. But I think that's one sentence that helps me a lot to keep it calm and to laugh with the worst moments that's happening in my life. So
beautiful. And yeah, it does sound like basically not all battles should be won today, right? Like and that's okay, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So I cannot quote you. I should quote her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You should quote
Yeah.
her.
Wonderful. So, and last but not least, where can people find out more about you? Are you most active? Where can they follow you if they want to know more about Nabou Claerhout?
Yeah.
It
Where can they follow? Yeah, well, there is a website, nabouklarhout.com. There is also Instagram and Facebook. And in November, the 3rd of November, I'm going to release an album with the trombone ensemble. So that's the newest thing. And then that's for now the biggest focus. And on the website, they also can find all the concerts and all that stuff. So I think these are the main things. If you want to follow me,
Yeah, and Instagram is Nabou Claerhout, right? It's your
Yes, Nabou Claerhout, or there is also one for the band Nabou. Yeah, it's all about me. Nabou Claerhout, Nabou trombone ensemble, Nabou Claerhout. So all with my name, I have to find something for that that I can make.
I'm also gonna put it in the notes of
Amazing.
the podcast so people can get to you and enjoy your music and your path and your creations. So yeah, Nabou, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being a
Thank
wonderful
you.
guest and sharing all your insights and stories. Yeah, so openly with me and with us, everyone listening and watching. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The pleasure was mine. Thanks.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, feel free to share your thoughts and ideas on the topics we've discussed today in the comments, as well as any burning questions you might have for my future guests. I'm your host, Michael Hrustil, and until next time, I wish you a sound mind.